Okay, just a couple life lessons to share with you in this video, and it's going to be a short video, I promise. Um, as you can see from the title of this video, the early bird gets the worm. And so that's what I did. So I'm in some training courses this week at work, and so we don't really start until about 10 o'clock on the eastern side. So I have a few hours in the morning extra to work on some customs, do some things around the house. And this morning I said, you know what, I'm going to get up early, and I'm going to hit some Walmarts just to see, right? Because I was up in Pennsylvania last week or over the weekend, and I got some cars. I got 20 of them at the Grove City, Pennsylvania Walmart. I said, let me just see, because I'm just guessing that these things are going to be coming out a little bit more, going to just be coming out here in Virginia. So like I've said before, I've got 7 Walmarts within a half an hour drive of my house. And one is north, one is west, one is right down the street, and then the other 4 are south. And so I decided to hit south. So I hit 5 of them this morning. Got some cars I'll show you, but just wanted to share with you guys, the early bird gets the worm. And yes, I'm older. My last video I told you guys how old I was, 53. But when I was 13 years old, my dad was one of those guys that he pushed us kids. He pushed us into, we had chores. He pushed us into jobs. He got us into a mindset of working. Oh yeah, I mean we had fun. I mean I played Little League baseball, Saturday morning cartoons, stuff like that. No doubt about it. After school, running around, riding bikes, playing football, all that kind of stuff with my friends outside and neighbors. But my dad was very good at pushing us into work. And when I was 13 years old, my dad got me a paper route. And at the time, I wasn't too excited about it. It was a morning paper route where I would be delivering papers, about 40, 45, if I remember, during the course of the morning, to my neighborhood. And the papers were dropped off at like 4:30 in the morning, and I had to obviously do them before I went to school. I was kind of crabby, wasn't real excited about it. But then I found out that I was going to be making, and it turned out to be I remember my starting amount was about $26 a week. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot of baseball cards. That's a lot of candy bars. I mean, that's a lot. But I realized that, yeah, it wasn't easy getting up early. But again, I really appreciate my dad. Well, I didn't so appreciate him at the time, but I appreciate him so much more now, 40 years later, that he encouraged me to be a morning person. And that's kind of my little message that I want to get to you guys. Because I have, I've told you before, I've got a couple daughters, they're teenagers. They're not morning people. If they weren't going to school or going to work, they would be sleeping in until 11 or 12 o'clock. I can't encourage you guys enough to strive to be a morning person, to rearrange your day to be, around that 10 o'clock time at night. Start getting yourself in the mindset as I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to start shutting things down, and I'm going to go to bed. And by, let's say, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, you're shutting it off. And then you can be getting up 6, 7 in the morning, right? And you can start your day early. I'm not a believer in luck. William, I'm talking to you, right? I've seen your text. You say, hey, you're so lucky. I don't believe that. I'm finding these cars because I'm hitting these Walmarts early in the morning. I mean, the first Walmart I hit this morning was about 6:20, and there wasn't anything there. I went to the next Walmart, probably got there about 6:30, 6:35. Boom. Hit the next Walmart after that, maybe around 7-ish. Boom. So my point is, you got to be diligent. And some people may have said that there's different definitions floating around about what luck is. I think luck is where it can be defined as where diligence and opportunity meet. So you have to play your part. I think you've got to be diligent. I mean, you've got to be a hard worker. You've got to be persistent, right? I hit 5 Walmarts today. Only 2 of them had cars. So if you guys are struggling to find cars in your area, maybe you need to broaden your scope a little bit, take a little trip, maybe go a little bit further than you're used to going. Look at Google Maps, find out where those Walmarts are, maybe go to a Target, but open up your radius a little bit of where you're looking for cars. And the early bird gets the worm. Don't be afraid to get up early. If you've got to get some coffee or you've got to get some energy drink or something to get you going in the morning, hit it and get out there and try to get after the search. And I say that, kind of in a lighthearted way with these customs and looking for donor cars and looking for these cars. Maybe you collect them. But I think, again, as a 53-year-old man, looking back, just having that lifestyle and that life practice of being a morning person, and sometimes you got to force yourself, get up and to be diligent about making your day productive, starting your day early, There's times when I have knocked out so many things before my family even wakes up. And I'm ready to just kick back and just kind of relax for the rest of the day and get some things done. But the hard part of my day is already done. Anyways, I've rambled on enough. Let me show you what I found, and I'll share with you verse number 2. So hold on just a second. Okay, couple bags here. I hit one Walmart, and dude, they had, I think they had just stocked the shelves because, again, it was perfectly lined up and set up with the 10 cars. There's those 5. And they also had this. Whoa, I'm dropping these. They also had that Ryan Newman sitting there. I wonder if it was a return because it was kind of just off by itself. You kind of wonder sometimes. Maybe it was a return. Who knows? Maybe it was found somewhere and they just put it out. But yeah, found that. Oh, that's my phone. I stuck my phone in there. Yeah. So excited. So glad to have these. Just awesome. And then another Walmart. And actually, this is the one that's right by my house. It had been picked through. So it would let me grab these things. It had been picked through a little bit, so not all of them were there. Man, I'm trying to juggle these things too many at a time. But these were the ones that were there. You can see that Austin Cindric Camry. And the 17 again. So, what am I looking at? I've got 6 here and 6 and 5. So that's 17 cars this morning across. Like I said, I checked 5 Walmarts. 3 of them were empty. But 2 of them stocked. Beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, let me show you where I'm at with my custom work. So you can see Kyle getting ready to build this 2009 Kyle Busch Real Chocolate Relief Act. One of the pains at some of these COT cars is just cutting out the decals. A lot of little decals to cut out and put together, separate out. So I did all that. Actually did that last night. Joey, here's the matte tift. That has come out pretty well. This was an interesting spoiler. It was a decal that kind of folded over. But yeah, for the spoiler, pretty happy with this. Pretty straightforward car or truck. Sponsorless. Mr. Michael, I think I'm done. I've got, actually, nope, I scratched that. I've got to touch the hood pins here, and I've got a little mark on my spoiler I got to touch up. But this Matt Kenseth 2014 is just about finished. This is the Tony Raines 2013 I was working the other day. Got that glossed up. And just need to do the spoiler and trunk pins here. And just give it kind of a once over. Make sure I've got everything there. And then Kyle, I had put this together. This is the 2021 pedigree that you had wanted. So I'll get these two done. I painted this with the Rust-Oleum Marigold. I think that's a good paint color for Kyle's, M&Ms and pedigree car. I think it's definitely his pedigree car. When you look at his M&M cars, it's very interesting because you get some that look like the standard yellow. This is the Marigold yellow. It's kind of a deeper yellow, but I kind of like it. I think it's just a better color to me. It's more bold. I've showed this before. This will be the Starburst one, so you can see this is kind of a little bit of a. It's not the sun yellow. This is the emoji color shot yellow, but you can see how much brighter that is than this Marigold. Oh yeah, and speaking of paint, oh my gosh, guys. Rust-Oleum's up to $5.98 a can for their enamel paint. And if you don't know, there's a push by the environmentalists to kind of punish these oil-based and enamel paints because, again, they're going after the oil industry. And so, I mean, even for automobiles, they're trying to push water-based paints. And, what's the problem with water-based paints? They just don't adhere to the metal as well. They don't last as long. And so, yeah, the environmentalists are going to make life a little bit harder for us that like enamel paints and oil-based paints. Anyways, not to wax too political there, but so yeah, so this is my chore here for the next probably today, and we'll get after that. All right, let's share another verse from my cards here. So, one of the greatest verses in all of Scripture is found in John 13. John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. And as you can see, the topic is love. And, it's a very interesting thing. The different words that are used in the Bible, the Greeks had different words for love. They had a phileo love and a eros love and the agape love. And they had different words that pertain to different types of love. And, in the English language, we just have the word love pretty much. Anyways, we see here, John 13:34 and 35, and this is Jesus speaking, and he says to his disciples, and I've got a little, print that's rubbed off here, but he says, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another." So it's kind of like Jesus is giving an 11th commandment. And it's almost, it almost goes without saying that we should love one another. But he's specifically talking to his disciples. And if you ever do a little bit of a study of his disciples did not always get along with one another. And they came from different backgrounds. You remember just the different types of people. You had the fishermen. You had the zealot. You had just a mix of different people who were his disciples. And he's laying down the hammer here. And he says, you guys need to love one another. Put aside your petty differences and love one another. And the way that you love one another will be a witness to all people that you are my disciples. Because what was Jesus? Jesus was a man who loved. He forgave. He did good. He was kind. And he's saying, hey, if you want to be my disciple, you need to love one another. So, yeah, great words by the greatest man that has ever lived, Jesus Christ. All right, guys, next time we'll do verse 3, and we'll talk about endurance. But, all right, God bless you. Have a great day. We'll see you next time out here.